Evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Tuesday, August 1st, 2023. Rarity lately when the equity markets, the treasury markets, can't say the same thing about gold and silver, but they did react in conjunction with what was going on in the dollar. And so the moves are more predictable because everything in terms of the equity markets and the treasury markets, it kind of went in alignment today, according to how I've been analyzing them. And so I'm going to get right down to it here in the NASDAQ. I'm starting on the hourly chart. We're not going to do treasuries tonight. They are following the path that I presented quite a while ago, and I'll be updating that possibly midweek. In any case, here in the NASDAQ, we're in a minute wave 5. I'm not going to spend a lot of time detailing the bigger picture. So within that, we had completed last week on Thursday, in a very strange move, a minute fourth wave. And that would have been right here at this low. And then as of last week, I'd counted up that we had gotten, that was into Friday's close. We had reached a high, which was great, and that likely finished wave 1. And then we kind of moved in through, and today, as I had left it yesterday, I said, unless the market wants to take off from here, and I gave our resistance levels, we were going to drop in terms of putting in a more finishing C wave. And that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. So we had an A, and we had a B, B up to here, and then we had a C. So A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C. You could have done the C from here. So we had several levels where it all kind of came into play. I put the 2 there. So what we're now in is likely a smaller third wave, but a third wave nonetheless. So it is where we're going to be looking for a little bit of movement. And because the direction is reverted and we are now heading higher to finish the wave, I'm looking for higher in a third wave. So it should begin to pick up the pace a little bit to the upside. We should easily break back above 15,838 and just keep going. Now, we just saw a lot of adjustments in stocks today, and the market just kind of moving in, and people they're just doing what they do. So again, just to kind of toss something in, is like if we see this volatility trade switch right now, selling the volatility indexes, so selling the index volatility, and then turning around and then buying the underlying volatility. When that trade reverses, they're going to be selling the underlying volatility and buying the index volatility. Because if you think about the action, the indexes are going to go down, stocks are going to go down. So you want to be long that. You're going to sell the underlying and sell the underlying volatility you're selling the volatility and you're selling the underlying. So the action of doing the trade is what gets propelled because the trade itself. Now we move that into here. I'm not seeing necessarily, but some of it possible because we did have kind of a split market where the Dow was up and the balance kind of just fought with each other about how far down they were going to get. Now, another one that I thought was very interesting today, and again, I know I got to be doing the NASDAQ, and I apologize, but if I don't talk about it, I'll forget, and then I'll feel bad. That I do believe, well, we got up there today. I've been looking for this E wave to complete, and it by getting itself up here into the channel, and it did it today and came off pretty sharply. So it got up to 2016, 2017. Let me just double check what that high was. 2015 and a half, 2016.60. And traded all the way down to 1984.80. So it got down to that absolute first stronger moving average, which was still heading up. And that kind of came to a screeching halt. So that's the Russell. And if it completed that triangle, now I'll just go up one more. If it completed this triangle, this is the whole primary B wave in the Russell. And if it completed it, then we could put a primary B up here. Then we're expecting this thing to start turning. Now, if the NASDAQ wants to hang out and the NASDAQ wants to do it its way, fine. My point being whether the market, I'm expecting the market to go up. I'm expecting the market to go above 16,058. I'm expecting the market to actually have the you-know-what to get itself up to 16,400-ish. That's kind of where I'm looking. And then it is all-time high. And a break above there pushes it. Now, when you're looking at this chart, which is the daily, it doesn't look like all that much territory. Granted, from here, it's a little bit under 1,000 points. If Apple comes out and everybody thinks that that's the best thing since you know what, well, it's going to go. Same thing with Amazon. And to be honest with you, if we saw what happened in Meta, we saw what happened in NVIDIA when they report outstanding earnings that are backed up by this forward guidance of expectations. So if we get that, then yeah, this thing just continues. But right now, I'm inside that minute fifth wave. And I believe what we have completed inside this minute fifth wave is minuet, waves 1 and 2. So we're getting ready to go into the third. I'm getting ready for a little bit of acceleration to the upside. Now, we've seen it here, but it was, and here, and honestly, this was the third wave. So, and it's of the same degree that I'm now looking for. So I think that's what we're going to get. And if we put that here, we shall be up here. So that was, it's very quick to do these little calculations. Let's call it 15,900 and 15,500. So it's like if it moves 400 points and we attach it to this, we're at 16,100. And that, these two companies report on the same day. If they both go, hey, we're really doing great. Hey, we're really doing great, et cetera, this thing goes off to the moon. So we can't count it out. It has to be allowed. Now, I'm not saying it's going to hang out over here. I'm not saying it's just going to keep on chugging higher. Because don't forget, the higher it gets, you're on a hope and whim and a prayer. Because you need to have concrete, I don't want to say evidence, but evidence that the growth and all these things that they're talking about are actually going to happen. So you're trying to buy into a possibility. So if we remember that, it's the same thing as when I'm trading. I'm giving an analysis on a possibility. So how much human emotion is what will drive us to whatever the level is? Because we sincerely will not have factual, actual numbers. They're models. It's this information gets put into a model, and that's what it spits out. When the model's wrong, it's like, well, here's the revised version, et cetera, et cetera. So in any case, I am looking for it to go up, and I'm looking for it to pick up some steam. So I think, you know, from where we are, get up to about 16,100 or above that high, and above that high to put in this internal, so it's a minuet wave 3 of minute wave 5. And then we do a 4, and then we get a 5. And here we sit. These have been here forever. So this is the minor 5, and this is the minute 5. Wow, they match in acceptable levels, right? Like the most common between wave 5 and wave 1 is that they're equal. Well, this is where minor wave 5, let's push this out, will be equal to minor wave 1. There's minor 1. Here's minor 5. Work the math. Fibonacci already did for us. So again, that's this one. Then this one we attach because I put the 4 here. Actually, I can do that now. Wow, cool. Don't forget. All right, so I did actually, but it's over here. I can put it there, but I'm actually going to leave it right where it is because it's not that much of a difference. So there's the minutes. So minute 100, but I'm already expecting to go past 100. So 100%, so equality, but at least it can equal it. Then we're at the high. If anything happens from there, it becomes a failure, but still it completes a move. But up here, that's the equality. That's the most common. Second is this. It's already beaten it more than once. So the third is 1.618. So 100% is exceeded. You start looking for this. We're in a third, can go. All right, over in the S&P. It basically is the same story, except we got a little bit of different scene because the minute wave 4 put in an irregular B wave. So, and again, I'm not going into that conversation to compare this irregular B wave to the larger one. Within several different places that we're in. And so let it say that that is wave 4. Ding, ding, ding. Not 5, minor 5, minor 5, intermediate wave C, etc., all the way up to primary B. No, we got one more leg. Here as well, we did 1, and then today we came down. The low of the day was 45.91. I had given earlier, if you were in my trade room, you got it, the 50% level for this to come down, and I may have given it yesterday as well, and that would have been, it was actually 45.88. And that low was 45.91, and then it just picked up and it rallied. Now, if this indeed, I can break this all the way down. Let's put it on a 15-minute. So there's 1, and then we get this beautiful wave 2, and it does all fit. When we, this will actually be, I did use that. A, B, C. So I did leave it here. Now, I take that back. It should be over here. And then we did get an ABC down, and that should be right here. So if indeed it's done, the S&P should turn and start to work its way cleanly above 4,600, start heading to break all this, head to break that, and eventually what we do get is 4650 to 4670. And above all that, we start moving into getting real close to that high, like the NASDAQ can, and that would be 4735 to 4795. So basically 4,800. And then we're knocking on the door. We would be knocking on the door. The all-time high. Can it do it? Yes. Does it mean that we're in a bull market? No, it really doesn't. I think everything that's kind of going on, that's kind of hanging on the outside, going like, you know what? Yeah, we're coming out of this pandemic still. We're seeing some recovery in places where they really make a huge ordeal. But in other places where it's like, we need to have that ordeal, we're not seeing that type of a recovery. So the pandemic still lurks about, and things are still kind of getting whatever they're getting. So there's still a lot of ailments going on within the country and within the states and within everything. And we got a lot going on. So without any of that, this market is really just going pretty pure technical right now. So on a technical basis, I'd be looking for, if indeed waves 1 and 2 are in, we're looking for this rally to turn and to just pick up the pace and now keep going. But we got to allow for, and I am going to leave it here, even though I mark it there, and that's wave 1. It was where I marked the high, and I'm going to take that back because it really should be here. And so I'll fix that. So to work the high differently than 46.21. And that actually was today, but I'm going to put it as that this is A, B, C, A. So in other words, if this is wave 1, A, B, C, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C. This got really weird, but it happened. So we have to count all this in. And what's happening now is just strange because it hadn't really broken that range. So we need to see it to break the range. We need to see it pick up the pace if indeed this is going to be wave 2, and we're working on wave 3. Same deal. This was the third wave, just happened to be in the down position, but you can see how quickly and how devastating a third wave can be when you're watching the market trade. When I pull it out and look on an hourly, it's a pretty big drop, but hey, it doesn't look that bad when I'm just got the whole bigger picture. But I want to tell you, if you were trading it and you happen to be long and it just turned and dumped, you did not like the trade. So there's a lot to be said about how these products trade and what kind of money you leave on the table or what kind of money you give back or lose. So in the S&P, I'm looking for this thing as like in the Dow, like in the NASDAQ, to turn and to start to move higher. Again, 46.21 is going to provide some resistance because that was the high. Yesterday's Globex, that was a high. But ultimately, we do put in a new high above 34. Then we have 46.50, we have 46.70. 67 to 70. And above that, 47. Okay, I'm going to leave it right there. Our next update will be on Wednesday, August the 2nd. Let me do a quick double check on any economic numbers that are coming out tomorrow. ADP Employment. Wow. The previous was 497,000. The median forecast is 175,000. This could be serious stuff. I hope it's a typo, because it's a big difference. And that comes out at 8:15 a.m. Eastern. And so have a great trading day tomorrow. Next update on August the 2nd.